I think because I've always approached building this business from such a mission perspective of helping these better for you brands win in the marketplace and helping them get discovered by more consumers, I've also been very focused on ROI for the brands. This needs to work.
One of the things you said earlier just about your business that I was fascinated by was you really try to drive, tell me if I'm stating this correctly, it's more online awareness, but then local you're driving people into local stores.
Local conversions, yeah, exactly. Yeah, online to offline.
So maybe elaborate on that a bit, because I do think if we want to be more sustainable, man, the more local and the more circular we can be, it's huge for the planet. Unfortunately, we live in a day and age where I always say it's easier to get items delivered to you from China than it is down the street. So how can we do more locally? So I'd be curious on how you go about, doing that from your website.
Yeah, we started right out the gate with that principle of wanting to drive people to the point of sale so that they could know where to repeat purchase the product and ultimately kind of integrate into their grocery shopping routine. Now, I know some grocery shopping routines have changed and some have shifted to online grocery ordering and pickup options and things like that. But within the space that we operate in North America today, still about 70% of consumer packaged goods sales for many of the brands we work with are being driven through those brick and mortar stores, be it Whole Foods or Target or Walmart, physical brick and mortar foot traffic. And so that may change, but I think that there's always going to be kind of these pickup points at a minimum for people who have ordered online and pick up near them. So that will stay. And that those pickup centers may get smaller in terms of real estate, but that they'll become more experiential and really more discovery centers for people to try and discover these emerging brands that we are promoting as a point of differentiation for those retailers. So I don't think that's going away. And I love the fact that we don't have to ship products around the country with tons of packaging, which just, that's what I really have a hard time getting behind whenever I have to make an online order, is just the amount of packaging that comes and then having to deal with that packaging, right? Like all that styrofoam, you need to research like which center you can actually bring the styrofoam to and all these things. So getting the consumer into the grocery store is important for our model. And I did the same thing with actually my previous business, just not with products, but I ran a eco-friendly daily deal site for 5 years. It was kind of coined the green Groupon. It was Ethical Deal. It's since been acquired and amalgamated into a different brand. But at the time, we were promoting online eco-friendly offers, leveraging the best of digital, the targeting that you could do to really hone in on that right consumer feedback that you could collect about that experience, the additional exposure that you could get, all the benefits of online, but ultimately using that discount at the time and that 24-hour incentive to take an action to drive that consumer to make a purchase online, and then ultimately walk through the vegan restaurants doors or the organic spas doors or the eco-friendly clothing companies doors to redeem their voucher that they had purchased online. So because that was the model I had done for services, I naturally, when I was thinking about helping people kind of try those everyday things, what they eat for lunch and what they clean themselves with, their homes with, my head was in that space. So, but it was innovative. Nobody was marketing CPG from an online to offline perspective 8 years ago, which is kind of crazy. It's really not that long ago, but it was natural because of, I think, the background that I had come into that with. And the benefit for the brands, I would argue, is also more because you're ultimately getting the consumer you're driving another visit to the retailer that the consumer regularly shops at. So it's a win for the retailer. They're not just going to pick up that product they discovered on social nature. They're spending a bunch of money on their grocery shopping trip. The retailer is making full margin on that product. It's manufacturer funded offer. The manufacturer gets the consumer to literally go on sometimes a scavenger hunt through the grocery store to find their product on that shelf, which if you're an emerging brand just starting out, you might be on the bottom of the shelf. You're not at that like prime eye level placement the big brands get to buy. Truly, it is sometimes a scavenger hunt. But now the consumer knows they've had that experience, which, is logged there to discover the product, put it into their basket. And that's where we can see the repeat purchase rates that we do, because next week when the shopper goes back to the grocery store, they like the product, they'll know where to find it. And so I think because I've always approached building this business from such a mission perspective of helping these better for you brands win in the marketplace and helping them get discovered by more consumers, I've also been very focused on ROI for the brands. Like this needs to work. Like if the value prop doesn't work for the brands, I don't accomplish the mission. So it's all interconnected and coming from that.
One of the things you said that's worth kind of elaborating on a bit was around packaging and shipping and how this is more sustainable. So by 2026, we will have 260 billion packages shipped annually. That's the trend we're on. I think we're getting close to just shy of 200 right now. If you look at the amount of plastic waste as a society we produce, a quarter of it comes from packaging. So that gives you an idea like, okay, 260 billion packages, of which a lot of it has plastic in it, right? Which you cannot recycle. And so that's always the thing that just gives you that gut punch every time I think about things getting shipped to you versus just going in the store and getting it.